So one thing we'll look at here really fast is what it takes to get into Sergo Qt and then to find out some ecoregion data. I don't know if many of you have kind of used this before, but one nice thing about it is you can find out a lot of information about your states, and particularly what's going on inside those states. A lot of information. We can start off here with not only states but combination of states. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that we want to look in Alabama because it's just the first one on the list. There's a lot of information in here. The one I personally like to look at is to look at the basically the maps, where it gives some more information about the ecoregions and shows those boundaries. And then it also gets into more detail. So if there's like a certain region within the state that you want to go ahead and learn a little bit more about, not only will it tell you information about where that exists, but it also tells you about some plant communities, some land uses. And see, if you were going to look, let's say like in this map, let's go to 68C, actually 68E here. And this is this little area through here. You can find out as you roll over that, get 67, 68E. You get into the dissected plateau. It's so strongly dissected that it no longer has a typical plateau appearance. The rugged, mostly forested region contains predominantly strongly sloping land, some steep-sided gorges and sandstone cliffs, and relief of 300 to 400 feet. The cool canyons and valleys often contain plant and animal species usually found further north. The Bankhead National Forest occupies a large portion of 68E, providing public recreation, wilderness, and forestry areas. Most of the region is drained by the Sipsey Fork of the Black Warrior River. The Sipsey Fork is a national wild and scenic river, and its headwaters and downstream is impounded to form Lewis Smith Lake, a hydroelectric generating reservoir also popular for bass fishing. So you go ahead and find this information out. You can also go back to this and find out extra information. So we're going in that 68E. Come over here and find out a little bit more information about that. Every state, every area has some version of this. So then you can look at, approximate area in square miles, and you can look at all these different categories. The geology. You can find out the elevation and local relief, as well as you can find out the typical soils orders, and then common soil series, temperature, precipitation, frost-free periods, mean temperature, potential natural vegetation, oak hickory in this instance, and oak hickory pine forests. And then land use and cover is mostly forested, public land, recreation and forestry, some pasture and minor croplands, some dairy cows, poultry, and egg production. So this is kind of interesting, especially if there's like sections and portions of states that you really don't get to visit much, or maybe you've never visited because they weren't along any kind of major route.